나무 묘호랭개교 나무 묘호랭개교 나무 묘호랭개교 Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you doing, friends? Namo Myoho Renge. I hope this finds you well and secure. Congratulations to Tammy for enshrining her mandala of Gohanzan. Namo Myoho Renge. Your life will change profoundly. You just watch. Today, I wanted to do something a little different. Getting lazy mouth. I've had a recent request on the channel by someone who not too clear on whether she's just starting out or whether she's practiced Buddhism for a while, Lotus Sutra Buddhism, Nichiren doctrine. Don't know these things about her, but she asked about purchasing one of our books from the TLK bookstore. Or she may be even looking on Amazon. I'm not sure. I tend to send people to lulu.com. That's www.lulu.com/spotlight/Kwoon, KWOON. That's our bookstore. And I was just perusing it recently after her question, wanting to tell her she wanted to know which book would be most advantageous for her, the best book for her to start out with. And it occurred to me, well, that depends. And I went and looked at the bookstore, and there's a lot of books there. So it's also something I don't talk about enough because it's a great source of support for this school and this channel and everything we do. So the percentage that the school gets from sales from the Lulu store is much, much better than the small percentages we get from international sales, other bookstores, and even from Amazon. And a lot of the books, quite frankly, don't make any money at all because they're just me wanting to get information out to the Sangha, right? So I was looking through and I thought, gosh, which book would I recommend? And so there was some context, and I answered her question on the channel in the comments, so you can look for that if you like. I made a suggestion of a couple of books, not knowing whether she was familiar with Nichiren or not. And the first one that came to mind was the recent re-edit of, I don't have it in front of me, Independent Nichiren Doctrine of Lotus Sutras, which used to be Beyond Zen, but has been greatly updated. And so now it's a new book. You'll recognize it by the cover. All the latest editions of books that I've gone through in the last couple of years are basically red books with a picture of the mandala of Gohanzen, or at least a portion of it, beneath the title portion. You'll know those are the most recent books if you see them, with the possible exception of Big Book of Buddhism, which has a slightly different cover to it, different color cover. It's very faint. I might update that. Excuse me. This dry weather. Come on. Okay. Arthritis. Getting old is no fun, sweeties. Anyway, So I thought I would do this video just to talk about the bookstore. I'm going to display several links, pictures of the pages, again with the link www.lulu.com/spotlight/KWOON. Kun, for those of you who may not know, is a Chinese word that translates roughly as sacred place of practice and study. Not unlike the Japanese word dojo, which you might all be more familiar with. But basically, it's the school of Buddhism here, geographically, where I am. But it is also our Sangha, because we are a school. We teach one another. We ask questions of one another. This is how we teach ourselves. All about Lotus Sutra, Buddhism, via Nichiren's excellent doctrine of the Lotus Sutra and the corpus of the Buddhist canon, right? So you'll find books. Now, there are books which you might not see, although they're published through the same site. For instance, like I've been reading something of the Moho Chiquan. This book is something that I printed out for my own study, and it's printed out from a CD-ROM that I purchased from distributed by Kosei Publishing. Paul L. Swanson is associated with Kosei Publishing and a university where, I wish I could see the name of the university right now, but I'm not seeing it. Anyway, he's a scholar, and he is endeavoring one of the great translations in history of Tendai's Moho Chiquan. And this is volume 1. It's a rather large book. And because of all of his hard work to translate this huge volume on cessation and insight or contemplation, I think it's only fair that he make the money from his hard work. So although I make it available for myself as a student, I purchased the CD-ROM, but reading on a computer screen is just, my eyesight isn't that great. So printing it out for me was essential, and that's a tool for my study. But for me to sell that tool again through my bookstore would be cheating him of his revenue, his copyright claim, right? So you may see me work with some books here as I speak to you on things that you'll go to the bookstore and possibly look for and won't find. So don't be frustrated. It's not available anywhere else. It's because this is private material that I'm printing for my own purposes. Overall, though, 99% of the books you see me working with will be books that are available on the website. To go back to what I was saying earlier, I wish I had a copy. Well, now I'm going to make a small change to this book today. It's not huge. It's, how many pages is this? 78, 79, 78 printed pages anyway. This is a compendium of several different things that I've picked up over the years off of the internet. Shout out to, I always forget the gentleman's name, but I took the liberty of making a note of it. Reverend Michael McCormick, and he's in the Bay Area, and quite a scholar, I must say, and contributed a tremendous amount of information on Nichiren and Nichiren's history and Nichiren's scholarship online, albeit those websites no longer exist. So because this information was freely available, and I happened to have collected much of the scholarship he had posted, I combined it with my own and found from different places all over. Oh, I forgot to take that out. But this is a very handy tool. I call it the Gohonzon map. It's available on threefoldlotus.com. You can just download it. It's right there on the website. But I also made a book copy of it, and for whatever effort I put into it to get it printed, the cost of printing and all of that, there's a cost to purchasing the book. But the benefit of this book is, well, not only does it start with our mandala of Gohonzon, the TLK Nichiren's, a digital copy of Nichiren's handmade mandala of Gohonzon, so we know it's not, I don't know what word to use here, but as I've discussed before, a lot of different sects and people and authorities have made their own versions and put their names on it and dates and things. It's like, I'm not trying to reach your enlightenment. I'm practicing Nichiren's doctrine. So I don't want any of that garbage on there. I want a Nichiren inscribed mandala. Don't we all? I mean, that's what we're practicing. So don't give me your name and your birth date and other. That's not a mandala of Gohonzon. That's a mandala of your Gohonzon. Go ahead, use it, but don't give it to me. I'm not meditating to you. I'm meditating to Gohonzon, my Gohonzon. So I want an untarnished, revised, from the hand of Nichiren himself, a mandala. But he's been passed away for 800 years. So the only way I can get that is there are 125 extant remnants and pristine copies of 800-year-old mandalas out there. They're in special collections, academics, certain sects have some, and most of them will make digital copies available to those who want to practice that, but not Nichiren Shoshu. No, they got to have their own. They're super authoritarian, and so they promote their own high priests, whatever. I'm not interested in practicing their Buddhism. I practice Lotus Sutra Buddhism, Nichiren's doctrine, and I use Nichiren's inscribed mandala. Don't mess with me. I want the pure thing, right? So this book also has what's called a Shute Gohonzon, and it's identified with numbers on each of the character rows so that you can then reference all of those personages. Remember, I always talk about this. These bodhisattva names and these colorful names of even deities and so forth, they capture aspects of our minds, our mental attributes, the way we think, our influences karmically. All of these things are in Buddhist sutras labeled with personages, names, so we can identify them. But they're not actual people. They're not actual persons behaving in the storytelling, the expedient means of the sutras. They are conceptual, like baskets, if you will, of certain types of influence, positive, negative, whatever, but they're all tools in order for us to inculcate meaning in our self-teaching so that we can awaken insights about the way the mind works and how to therefore navigate a path with Gohonzon to open the door of our Buddha. It's all about that. So sometimes it's helpful. I know in early practice especially, we're very curious about what is all this stuff? What is chanting? Who is Bodhisattva such and such? Well, when you're looking at this mandala, it can be very amazing to look at pictorially, and it's meant to be, so that it draws your focus in to Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, right? But what's everything else around Namo Myoho Renge Kyo? That is where these personages that pop up throughout the teachings of Shakyamuni, well, it was oral, but his teachings, his sermons, he labeled certain aspects of humanity with these appellations, these names, as bodhisattvas or other deities, even Dairakute no Mao, the king of the hells, right? The demons, as it were, that would be negative influences that create obstacles for our practice, for our enlightenment. They're in here too, because this is a complete picture of our elucidation, our path to enlightenment. That's what this mandala is. So to help you understand this book, and again, many thanks to Michael McCormick, has a lot of research from the archives of Buddhist research, what all of these, and you can see on the next page, all these labels of what these characters represent. And you'll see everything there from Shakyamuni Buddha and Tahoe Buddha to the four bodhisattvas of the earth, the leader Jogyo, which Nichiren identified with as later in his practice. He viewed his mission, his life's work, as like the leader of the bodhisattvas of the earth, so he associated himself with Bodhisattva Jogyo. And so you'll see, you'll hear all these stories, and you'll be able to research, and perhaps with that information, everybody's different, but perhaps with that information, the next time you sit down at your Butsudan and you look at your scroll, your mandala of Gohonzon, you'll have a deeper insight, appreciation, and a sense of completeness, really, that this is a document that is a kind of a shorthand for all of the Dharma, all of the teachings of Shakyamuni, right there. And centrally, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo being supported by this wealth of teachings solely to reach our particular insights toward our awakening, our enlightenment, our Buddha-ness. Right? So that's why a book like this, it can be very helpful to our practice, right? And it's something we can share if friends or people come over to chant with us. We have something we can refer to so that they don't think that we're just practicing some kind of black magic, right? It's nice to have reference material, and it helps us become bodhisattvas to help others understand. Here's one of those books that I don't think is online, and you see I titled it study material, right? So I may talk from this book, which I have. This is the Mula Madhyamika Karika, which I spoke about in a series, came right from this book. But again, this is translations from Stephen Batchelor, Jay Garfield, and Jonah Winters. All great scholars, and I certainly don't want to disparage their work. I use it in my own study and in my teaching, or sharing. But here's another one, which is an ancient document that has no extant copyright, so I make this available. This is the 12 Gates, right, which is freely available online. But I don't know about you, but I like books. I like tactile. I like to highlight things and bend pages and all of that. Maybe that's old school. I don't know. But for me, I need that book, not just for myself, but because I want to share this stuff with you. It's helpful to have a book handy. And you may enjoy that kind of a relationship with books as well. So the bookstore is a great source, www.lulu.com/spotlight, SPOTLIGHT, ooh, spelling, slash Kwoon, KWOON. It's a great resource, and it's a great way to support the channel and all the work that we try to do here at the school as well as online. What else can I say about the bookstore? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. A lot of, look through it. One book that I recently revised deeply was The Profound Meanings of the Daimoku. Because everyone's always got questions about what are we chanting? Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. What does that mean, right? There's a lot of free information available at threefoldlotus.com. So don't forget to go there. And we've got hundreds of videos on this channel. So use that search on the head page of the channel. Go to the channel page, and there's a search, not at the top because that's a YouTube search, but in the page there's a little search bracket for the channel. So if you want to know more about Gohanzan, Dharma, Karma, 3,000 Realms, any kind of term like that, stick it in that search and you'll get a result set that's all the videos that are on this channel that talk about, or in the descriptions have information regarding that topic. And that's a very quick way to peruse the hundreds of videos on this channel and find things that are more targeted to what you're curious about at the moment, right? So please use that search. And then the secondary avenue, I would say, for you that's free to you is www.threefoldlotus.com. You don't even need to www. It's just threefoldlotus.com. That's the domain name. And everything there is HTTP. It's not even secure because there's no JavaScript. There's nothing that takes your information from the website anyway. It's just all free information, and there's tons of information. If you go to threefoldlotus.com/home/home.htm, just 3 letters, HTM, or if you click the button on the home page, if you scroll down a little bit, it says Core Study Materials. That'll take you to that page. You'll see like 60-some buttons on there that all have labels that say Why Daimoku, or the 12 divisions, or the 3 treasures, or all of these fundamental little concepts that as you read, you run across these terms and go, what is that? I have provided PDFs you can download, you can print, or you can read them online, of descriptions, answers, study. Some of the stuff I have up is, quite frankly, just my own research material. It's not bounded by me. It's just all these different sources and what they say about it, like the 108 beads in the beads, the 108 defilements, or whatever you want to call them, the 108. I have probably 5 or 6 different papers from different sources that talk about this 108 and what is the significance of the 108. Use the threefoldlotus.com website as a source of free information, and in some cases links. Like there's a link in there. There's a link. There's a line of buttons on the right side of the screen, and you'll see books. That'll take you to the TLK bookstore. Or some of the buttons may discuss something that requires more in-depth study, and putting a PDF was prohibitively large. The website wouldn't allow it. because it was too big of a file. So that link would take you to the bookstore to a specific book, or maybe to a website that answers it well. But I've been doing a lot less of that linking to other websites because, as I said earlier, they tend to disappear. I don't know what the heck is going on the internet, where there used to be a vast scholarship of Buddhism available online. And I'll just say this real quickly. What I've noticed is certain organizations have made it their target to squelch all of those responses through Google or Bing or whatever and just show their ideas, their ideology as the source for all of Buddhism, which is heinous. I don't understand how they get away with it. But on the other hand, there was a gentleman. Gosh, I'm so bad with names. He had a web ring going with a tremendous amount of Buddhist information from the extant Gohonzons, which now you can only find if you dig through. And I have links to that too. The workshop of people who write only on the history of the mandalas created by Nichiren. But David. Anyway, a lot of us Buddhists who are looking to put information online use that web ring to make web pages available to the masses. And he passed away. And so nobody was there to take up the torch of the amazing web ring that he worked on every day. And so now all that information has disappeared. You can find some of it on Weebly. Some of it's just scattershot all over the place. It was Nichiren's coffeehouse.net. And now something else has taken that over, or the domain name has expired. And all of that vast information has disappeared. It's very hard to hunt for it and find it. Which is yet another reason why I've been creating these books, because I want to make a solid library of reference material for our use. I don't want this is interesting. I don't want this teaching to fade away, which has been a constant theme of Shakyamuni's teachings since he was alive. For 3,000 years, there's been this fear of the loss of the Dharma, of the teachings. And as I said in another video, we've had to deal with that in recent decades. There's books about the, I'm going to say this wrong now, the Gandhara area of northeastern Japan, India, and the discoveries they've made there of some of the first translations into written script of many different languages, folded up and put into clay jars and buried because of the fear of the loss of the teachings. You know, this was an oral teaching, and that's how it spread: memorization and repetition. And so to write it down was another act of trying to preserve the teachings. And we live in the final 10,000-year period of the fifth 500-year period after Shakyamuni's passing, right? If you study, you'll know all those terms. And this is the age of Mappo. And what is the age of Mappo? It is the age of the loss of the teachings. And I've been watching it happen, albeit online. I'm encouraged, though, because there are great scholars out there still delving into the language of the Dharma, the translations, the various languages, right? And in my own small way, I am trying to participate in that. My focus is on the practice and getting the practice correct, the correct transmission of Shakyamuni's teachings. Nichiren was fervent about that. So was Dengyo. and Miao Lo and Tiandai or Qi and continue going backwards. There's too many names for me to remember. Vasubandhu, Nagarjuna, yeah, they stand out. But for our practice today, the more complete vision of the corpus of Shakyamuni's teachings really begins with Qi in China in the 5th, 6th centuries, right? Or 7th, 6th and 7th, around the early 600s. An amazing scholar, and for this teaching, and it was lost in India, by the way. It was outlawed in India, the country of its birth. This is just how things change, right? Cultures, time. So China became the great center, shifted away from India to China, and then from China and from India it spreads southern through Burma and other places. But China became a very focused society on the teachings of Buddhism. And from there to Korea and Japan, and from all of that to us finally in the West. We're a little late to the party. But that's okay, because we have the benefit of these tremendously dedicated scholars throughout history. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. So, the bookstore, a great resource. The website, a free resource. And, of course, this channel. So, for all of that and more, I congratulate you and I thank you profoundly for your support, watching these videos, purchasing books, using threefoldlotus.com as a resource for yourself. My patrons, oh my goodness, you guys are incalculably wonderful in not only the financial donations, which are very much necessary in this day and age, but your participation in the Sangha. You're supporting all of us. And I just shipped out a Butsudan of mine that I no longer use. And it's kind of sad that it was just sitting here in the school, not doing anything. And one of you purchased it from me with a wonderful contribution to the school. And I'm so excited for that to. It hasn't gotten into his hands yet. It's in transit. So Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, get there safely. But it comes with a mandala already in it, and some things to support the practice. And I had a very large, in earlier videos, you might see the ones I didn't do in my home, but in the school here with this big old Butsudan. I had a mandala with green lotus flower pattern. It was handmade Japanese paper, and I made this very large mandala, and that hasn't been used in a couple of years. So he also purchased that. So I'm just excited. I'm excited about Buddhism. I'm excited about our study together and your practice. Keep asking questions, comment. You can comment on this channel. You can send me a personal email at tlksylvain.com or sylvain@gmail.com. And yeah, let's just keep our practice strong, and let's not obstacles come from just not knowing. Let's find out. If you have questions, if you have doubts, ask, and we'll answer them together. All right. That's enough blah, blah, blah about this. I just thought it was long overdue that I did some kind of a talk about our resources. I've done Use the Resources video about a month ago, but I just wanted to revisit it and talk about some of the particulars of the books on the bookstore. Again, at www.lulu.com/spotlight/. slash Kwun. I hope you find what you're looking for in there. Lulu can be tricky to look for things. That's why I'm being specific about the bookstore title. But they'll have a search there, and it'll take you to the whole of Lulu instead of just within the TLK bookstore. So please try to stay within the bookstore to support this channel and this school. And heaps of appreciation. Stay healthy. Be kind to yourself and others. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. So proud of you guys. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.